Good morning or evening, friend. Is your friendly announcer. I got some serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster. Could I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome once again for another edition of the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. Okay, whenever you pull the cover off of a narcissistic person, or whenever you challenge, or and maybe not even challenge in an innocent way, a person who is very uh, full of themselves, you are going to find that is they become they come very um, how do you say it? Very angry. That's the best word I can do. Well, very angry, taken aback, um, because they cannot take any type of criticism. So obviously, I uncovered just a little narc behavior in the letter that I read, and um, with one of the comments that a couple of the subs sent back to me. The first thing I want to say is, I know you guys were narcs. So whether you there or you unsubscribed or you there and you got your shot off and you left, I I'm good riddance because I'm more concerned with people who have been damaged by people who have these personality disorders. I'm well aware that everybody has proclivities and they may have things that they do um, and may have made mistakes or have at some point acted inappropriately. We're not even talking about that. I am uncovering and talking about people who really destroy other people's lives. I mean, and that may not be nothing to you, or you may think that that's simple, or it's not a lot of damage done. But there's a lot of people trying to pick up the pieces and move on with their lives. But in the interim of doing that, they need to know that they're validated. They need to know that there's somebody out here that understands exactly what they went through, that they're not crazy, and no matter who's called them that, no matter who's try to make them feel like they were not enough. I think that part of the videos that I'm trying to do is to show them, and myself included, that we are enough. And so anybody that has a problem with that, mm, fuck you. Okay? Now, I'm going to get on to this next letter. And so you're probably going to get messed up with this too. But these are real people having real lives with real crazy people. And some of them are being destroyed. Some of them are trying to be loyal because they're husbands or wives and they're trying to stay in a marriage because they have children. And some of this behavior is not adding up. And those people need to know that there's somebody out here that hears them. So I'm going to read this one as well. I'm quite convinced that my ex has BPD. At the beginning of our relationship, she told me she was polyamorous. She told me she wanted relationships with other people, but the way it would work was that our relationship would be about trust, communication, and honesty. I really loved her, and I am not particularly a jealous person, so I was willing to give it a try. A few months went by in which our relationship was mostly long distance. I traveled to see her twice. She came to my place once. Things move quite quickly. Red flag right there. It always does. Like they're trying to solidify. a relationship quick, trying to make sure that they, let me just read. Things move quite quickly, as they always do, and she wanted constant communication on the phone when we weren't together. Another red flag. If somebody wants to text you and call you all the time, and you thinking, "Oh, this person really loves me," oh, that's or no, honey, that person is really, really trying to exert some type of power and control over you, and in a sly way, trying to have accountable for every time of your day, and want to constantly be in control of your time and day. Well, these are the things you see. I see now, but of course, when you wrapped up in stuff, you don't see this craziness and whatever your weaknesses are for your codependency. But anyway, um, I was willing to give it a try. A few months into our relationship, it was mostly long distance. I said that things moved quite quickly. She wanted a constant communication on the phone when we weren't together. She told me she wanted to marry and wanted us to buy the house I was living in. See? Everything seemed great, and then she moved in with me. The very same day she moved in, her personality flipped. She had completely ignored me and sat on her computer smoking weed she bought from a friend of hers. This went on for 3 weeks with me unsure of what to do now and her saying that she just needed time. Until I came home from work one day and she informed me that she was going to stay with her physically abusive ex for a week or longer to get more weed. I was stunned. I didn't know how to react. I broke down that night, but the next day she left anyway. After a day or two, I came to my senses and realized that, holy shit, this woman is out of her mind. I tried to convince her what she was doing was dangerous, but everything I said, she turned back on me and told me I was being abusive. I never once abused her, never hit her, or anything that remotely looked like abuse. I was simply telling her the honest truth about her behavior and how she was betraying me, her parents, who had loaned her thousands to escape her abusive boyfriend, and lastly, she was betraying herself. Long story short, she wasn't polyamorous. The only thing she had in common with polyamory was that she slept with other people. She even admitted to me that she'd never read about the subject, and her initial infatuation with me was simply a manipulation tactic to create a bond with me. I'd loved this woman for a decade, carried a torch for her, and watched her go from one shit relationship to another before she finally gave me a chance, or so I thought at the time. Turns out she set out from the start to absolutely destroy me emotionally. So, she either has BPD or something like it, or she's one of the most evilest women on the planet. In fact, on the face of the earth. Now, so for those of y'all, now I don't care if you call him a Mark or whatever you want to call him, but for those who have honestly tried to do what you should do in a committed relationship, and you encounter people like this and situations like this, I think it is imperative, and it gives me all the more courage to know that everything shining is not gold, and that there's a lot of wounded, hurt people out here. Hurt people hurt, and there are a lot of wolves, okay, in sheep's clothing. And if I can expose them, and if I can expose the warning signs, if I can expose what to look at, and if I can say anything, or if I can learn anything that would help me, and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm sure you're going to definitely, the subs on this page will definitely leave their comments on what they're feeling. The bottom line is, for people to be their best that they can be, their authentic self, they need to know that they're validated. They need to know that there is a place for them. There's a place to get the dogma out of them, the abuse out of them, and to be validated by the YouTube community, the narcissistic community. It doesn't matter. If you feel better by hearing the video, and if it's you thought you were crazy because behavior you were putting up with or behavior you was seeing or um, having done to you, and now you realize that there's thousands upon thousands of other people that have experienced the same thing, I'm glad, because that means this whole mental health thing is worthwhile. Okay? So, for those of you haters out there, and those of you who want to make those snide comments about weak people and blah, 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 dude, I know it. I've been around enough narcissists now to know somebody pulled the cover off your ass and you couldn't handle it. Okay? But for the rest of y'all and for the rest of us who want to continue to share, please come back. If you like what you hear, like and subscribe, and we're going to keep on talking this stuff. And whatever else we feel like dumping, right here, as we should, in the mental health. Thank y'all. We'll see you later.